Hi, it's Fiona G from Washington, and I have a sensitive yet frustrating topic today, which is about my Dex when I went to fill it. And it goes back to when I actually tried Ritalin, going back to the beginning days of my Dex. Actually, we first started with Adderall, but this is all going back to February 3rd when I first asked my medication provider to give me the stimulant per my sleep doctor's request. And this was for no diagnosis or suspected diagnosis at the time. Just the fact that I was oversleeping, taking too long of a nap, and I needed to stop. And again, he just freely took my word and gave it to me. And again, I am very thankful. I don't think that's how things should have worked. I think she should have contacted him somehow, left him a message, written a little letter, note, something that she signed off on, or something. But that's just my opinion. But that's not really how they do things here in the U.S. or how things work. So I guess it is what it is. And that's becoming more of a problem. And I guess that's probably what led me to what happens, or to what's going on right now. Anyway, so we started with a week of Adderall. And I don't remember how much, but it gave me a 4-day migraine. By day, I was drinking energy drinks and venti caramel frappuccinos from Starbucks because it was pretty bad. And caffeine can actually help a migraine. It can make it worse, but for some, it can help. And I'm one of the few people that it actually helps. By night, I was taking a painkiller that's a prescription called tramadol because my migraine medication, which is Pax, I take 40 milligrams, did nothing. I tried, but it didn't help at all. I actually, the migraine came into me in the middle of the night, and I took the Pax, and it just would not get better in 30 minutes. Usually it takes about 20 minutes. And then I took the tramadol, and I was fine, which was good, but it really sucked that it came to that point. It should never come to that point. Anyway, and then over the weekend, I took my Pax with the Adderall in the morning, and on a Saturday and a Sunday. One of the days I slept for 8 hours during the day. The other I slept 10. And yeah, I had no issue sleeping at night. So when I went to see my doctor that Monday, he's like, really? Okay, well, we don't want you on Adderall. And with your body being so weird and how you react to certain things so oddly, I want to try Ritalin. So he gave me Ritalin. And when I filled it, I was told for the first time I was too old to take it by my insurance. And with where I was, what was going on at that point in time, I could not wait for a prior authorization through my insurance. I had to have the prescription there and then. For 7 pills, I had to pay $17.50. Not really something I can easily do, but I happened to have the money and just did it and dealt with it and started taking the Ritalin. Well, the Ritalin made me worse. I was actually better functioning and higher functioning off of it than on it. And it took me a while to realize this. And a day of taking the Ritalin where I drank 3 energy drinks and one of the tall glass bottles with the Starbucks Frappuccinos in it. And that night, I could just feel the blood just going through my veins so fast. It was just incredibly scary. And because I take sedating medications at night, I refused to take any of them. I just was like, no, exhaustion has to set in at some point, and I will fall asleep. I am not touching that medication because this stuff is gonna do something. And I don't have a death wish. You've all heard me say this before. I don't have a death wish. So I didn't take them. I eventually fell asleep and all was well. my brother actually saw me down 2 of the energy drinks and the Starbucks Frappuccino. He didn't know about the 3rd energy drink because he wasn't with me. And he joked, he's like, joked around, that's just gonna kill you. And I'm like, oh, CPR, right? And he goes, yeah, ka-thunk to his heart. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. We were just kind of joking about it, but seriously, is pretty dangerous. And I don't know that really had a role in why I stopped them. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I just realized I like the taste, and that's why I was drinking them. And they don't give me really any energy at all, except for maybe 30 minutes, an hour tops. So there really wasn't a point. They're expensive. I don't need to be spending money on that. I need to be spending money on other things. So that's why I stopped, was the money, what it came down to. So anyway, so I took 5 days of Ritalin and didn't bother with the weekend, the Saturday, Sunday dose, because I'm like, this stuff is ridiculous. I'm going to function better with it, with not taking it. So I stopped. And that's when we started the Dex. And it was just trial and error to get to the dose we were. And I actually played with the dose that I'm at now. I tested the theory out for a few days before I went to my doctor. And I was like, so I was playing with my dose, and I did this and this much in the morning and this much in the afternoon, and it actually worked really well for me. So can we do that? And he's like, yes, but don't play with your dose anymore because you're like close to the most you can take in a day. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So last month I got my first full month-long prescription from him because we know that the dose works, it's effective, and all that's good with it. So instead of going week to week or a couple weeks or a few weeks out, we went a full month. Great, dandy, good. Went through my insurance, no problem. And the only wait was having to order it for the pharmacy because it was for 150 capsules. So that's a lot. And apparently, in the state of Washington, with this class of drug, I guess it falls under narcotics as well, you have to fill the whole thing at once because you can't partially fill it. If you partially fill it, you will not get the rest filled. So, for example, I dropped it off and they had 140 pills. If I filled that 140 pills, I would have never been able to get that 10 pills back. Not without going back to my doctor and saying, I need a prescription for 10 more pills, which I actually couldn't have done anyway. But that's, in essence, what happens. You get short of those pills. So, example will come later in this discussion of what happened today. So, I went there and that's what they told me. That's how much they had. And I'm like, well, can you please order some? And she said, sure, no problem. And because I realized that was the case, that it needed to order it. And she also said, hey, you can always call ahead and we'll order it. That way when you drop it off, we'll have it here and get it ready for you and you can take it home the same day. Because typically I drop it off, have to go home and come back another day. And that's not easy to do for my situation. That's another story. So I was like, great, that would be wonderful going forward. And when she went to run through my insurance, it says I'm too old and that I'm on too much. And I'm like, what? Okay. And she, what do you mean? And so she printed it out and she said there's an age restriction now on the Dex and a capsule or dosage restriction of 2 pills. So 20 milligrams. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? She's like, no. So what she was going to do is cover me for a day and then fill it and deduct that 5 pills. But she couldn't even do that because she couldn't get it to go through my insurance. And they were closing. And I'm like, I'm so sorry to take up all your time. She's like, I'm here tomorrow. We'll get on it. Okay, great. Next day comes around, 8 o'clock in the morning. I call my insurance. What the heck? Oh, okay. Well, I don't see an age restriction on here, but okay. Well, my pharmacy does, and that's a problem. What happened? And they're like, I start really cracking down on my insurance. A policy change happened. Apparently, this started effective this month. I'm like, but I filled the same exact prescription last month and had no issues. You can look and fill it on this date. And anyway, what they found out was that it requires a pre-authorization, which I figured. That's what the pharmacy figured too. She just didn't want to work that night because she's ready to go home. She'd been there for 12 hours, and it was time to go. And she said she'll get on it in the morning, and I could get on it an hour earlier than her, so I did. Their pharmacy department and my insurance said they'll put in a pre-auth with my doctor. Go ahead and call them, let them know to expect it, and please take care of it, right away, kind of thing. Make it a priority. No problem. I called them. I talked to a live person at my doctor because they're closed on Friday. She said, sure, no problem. As soon as we get it, we'll take care of it for you. I said, it is a priority. I can't see Mark, who's my provider. He's gone for the whole month of June. He wrote me my prescription for June, too. I have it already. You have to take care of it. You're closed on Friday, and you aren't back until Tuesday. It's a holiday weekend. And they did nothing. I am pissed. And the pharmacy, she did what I did. She called my insurance, and she called my doctor's office. Said the same things I did. It's a priority. It needs to be done today. And they did nothing. So today I called, thought maybe insurance just was lagging on something. And so I called them finally this afternoon, and they said, oh no, your doctor's office didn't respond. And I'm like, oh hell no. Those fucking idiots doing this to me again. I'll get back to that in a minute. And then I asked, I'm like, well, when are you out? And I'm like, tomorrow. Oh, okay, well, let me see what we can do. And I asked, when did you fail last one? And I'm like, April 22nd. They looked it up. They could see, yes, we put the same exact thing through. They're like, well, we can override and give you 3 days supply to get you to Tuesday when your doctor's office is back open. Okay, that's great. That's when I called my pharmacy, and they're like, well, if you fill those 3 days, you don't get your other 27. What the fuck? That is the fucking stupidest bullshit I have ever heard. And I can't just go to my doctor who is in another city 30-something minutes away from me and just get another fucking prescription because he ain't gonna be there. And the problem is, with my doctor who's in 1 day a fucking week, they don't ever give my chart to another doctor, and it pisses me off because they can't have another provider just look at my chart for 5 minutes and see, oh, we did the same prescription last month, and then we're trying to do the same prescription now. Her insurance changed their policy. Sign off on the motherfucker, stupid bitches. So I called and I bitched him out over the phone and said, if you have a provider, just look at the stupid prescriptions. Mark keeps a carbon copy last month, this month. Same fucking prescription. It's an insurance problem that needs an override. There's an age restriction and a restriction on the number of pills per day. You just need them to look at their stupid records. You don't need Mark. Anybody can fucking do that. And they always insist on waiting until Mark gets back in, and Mark ain't fucking gonna be there for a month. And I certainly am not going out without Dex for a month, because I will not be alive. I'll be dead for like a month in bed, because this girl ain't getting up for shit. I have some Dex. I'll have more than enough to get me through Tuesday, but I mean, I need to be functional in June. I have things going on. I have a life to live. I can't just be in bed sleeping 12 to 16 hours a day like I normally do, because that's bullshit. And let's not talk about the fact that beyond that, I am not functional. I couldn't even make this video if I was going through a stage without my Dex right now. I'm just in bed like, ugh. Can't do shit because I can't even get out of bed to do anything. Can't. It's, ugh. Hypersomnia is horrible. I really don't wish it upon anybody. Just like with my endometriosis, that was a horrible thing to go through. And I would not wish that upon anybody either. Even the worst people that I know, seriously, wouldn't wish it upon them. And I almost wonder if my mom has IH too, because she's always exhausted. She's always tired. She's always run down. And she doesn't sleep long hours, but she just doesn't seem to ever get a restful sleep. But anyway, so that's my frustrating story for the day with the Dex. And I have no fucking idea when the hell that prescription's getting filled. Because I don't think Mark's in next week. His day is Monday. Monday's a holiday. He might be in on Tuesday, but I have no idea. And it just pisses me off that my fucking doctor's office can't ask another damn provider to just look at my fucking chart for 5 damn minutes to see, oh, it's the same exact prescription. I can sign a pre-auth. Holy shit, what a fucking concept, you stupid moron. Seriously. I'm the one with the mental health issues? I mean, hello? Yeah, not really. I think they are. But the person they're probably going to is Sylvia. And Sylvia is, wow, she's a whole nother story. She's the one who I started with when I went there. And she's like, I really don't know what to do with you anymore. I'm just going to make a note on your chart. And I'm going to have you see Mark now. Because I really just don't know what to do with you anymore. And then when I went to go get tested for ADD, she's like, first thing she does was, well, were you diagnosed as a child? Well, no, but that doesn't mean I don't have it. That's not a requirement according to the DSM-IV. I went through that with my counselor, and he's like, you have a lot of symptoms. You should get tested. She's like, oh, well, you weren't diagnosed as a child. You can't have it, and I'm not going to test you. So thanks for wasting the taxpayer money to drive me out here for no fucking reason, because now you're not testing me and doing that. So I don't even know where the fuck else to go, but I really do want to get tested because I am curious. But regardless, I'm on Dex, so Dex helps with ADHD. So if I did have any ADD, the Dex would be helping with that too. So I guess no big, because it would be treated right now, I guess. On a side note, I very rarely drink caffeine. I haven't had a soda in, I don't know, since like mid-April. And I'm actually enjoying myself a cherry Coke right now, which is absolutely delicious. But I think my grandmother thinks that's why I've lost so much weight. I know the Dex helps with that because it curbs my appetite like a bitch. But it also, I've dropped the soda, the energy drinks. I stopped those in April. Between that combo, I think that has contributed to the 25 to 28 pounds that I'm down. It's just really freaking sweet, because that idiot doctor, if you remember me talking about him, put me on Serahel, or Seroquel, as it is, and he watched me gain 45 pounds in 9 weeks. That's 5 pounds a fucking week. And finally he said, oh God, you're going to make me depressed with all this weight gain. And he decided to finally take me off of it. Oh, let's not to mention the fact that my triglycerides went into the 500 level. They weren't 700 yet, but they're pretty significantly high from it too. But he sat there and let me gain 5 pounds a fucking week. He weighed me every week I came in once a week, every week, and he saw the weight gain, and he didn't make me stop. He just sat there and watched me gain weight, which is total bullshit. And that shit is just evil. I'm glad I got off of it, man. Once you get weight from stuff like that, it is so hard to get rid of it. Stay away from antipsychotic medication if you can. It is the devil. Plus, long-term use can give you tardive dyskinesia and other shit you don't want. So, bad shit. Bad shit. Anyway, here's Lady Fiona, or Fiona G, signing out from Washington, venting to y'all on YouTube. See ya. Thanks for watching.